Hi friends, it's Sarah from rufflesandrainboots.com, and today I am sharing one of my favorite DIYs of the season, this elegant gnome ornament. Full beard, beautiful guy. If you'd like to make him boop, stick around. As always, please give this video a like so I know you're here crafting with me. I'll show you and talk about two different ways to make him this wine or package tag and an ornament. I'm going to be using scissors, a paper towel roll, and macrame or macrame cord in two sizes, a 3 or 4 millimeter and a 6 millimeter. Let me show you what that looks like. The one on the right hand side is thinner. It's going to be used for the hat. The one on the left is thicker and will be used as the beard so we don't have to use a stiffener. You may know where we're going with this. I'm going to cut off 1 inch of the paper towel roll, and I'm going to cut 20 12-inch long pieces of the thinner or smaller macrame cord. Now, this is a viral hat made with yarn. I saw it first on Taffleberry Lane. I'll try and find her video and put it below. I know people copy other people's crafts. I can't do it. I have to bring something new. So this is my something new to answer all the people who want to see this. A lark's head knot is very simple. We're going to go half the cord, loop it under through the center, and then take the ends through that loop. If you find that you have this big gap in the middle, it just means that you put the loop on the outside. It looks like this. You see that big gap right there? It's okay. We want it to look like that. So you can either tug it to the other side or you can just do it this way, which is take the loop through the middle, grab the two ends, making sure they're, mostly even, and then tugging them through. You'll want that knot to lay flat on the edge of the paper towel roll. That's it. We're just going to do that 20 times. Now, as I've mentioned, I do crafts like this when I'm listening to Audible books. I love, having that sort of escape when I'm doing repetitive tasks. And for those of you reading along, I am reading Neil Gaiman, The Sandman 2. It's a partnership where he wrote this really cool series. I love it. But if you're reading along, that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to go all the way around. If you find that you can't fit yours all the way around, just make sure it's all really tight and together because we're not using any glue. This is all friction fit, okay? So we're going to pull that, make sure you go all the way around, making sure all those knots are pulled tightly. And now here's everybody's favorite part. You're going to cut either the same thin macrame or macrame cord at 12 inches or 10 inches. You can also use yarn, colored cord, whatever you want, but you're going to tuck all the ends through the middle. See how those knots are now our brim. And then you're going to tie about an inch or so above the brim. Just make sure it's really, really, really tight. Double knot that, and that's now the back of our hat. So I just cut off the very top with some scissors and I just made it like a pom-pom. You can even brush it out to make it fuller. But once we have that, we're going to take those two ends and we're just going to hide them. So you can use a 10-inch cut. I use the 12 so you can see where they come out right down here at the bottom. You're just going to put one on either side of the knot, and that way it'll all sit flat and even. Now we're going to put that aside. So we're going to use the thicker cord for our beard. We're going to cut 11 14-inch long pieces of 6 millimeter cording. Now, you may say, whoosh, that's a lot. Well, if you're new to macrame or macrame, you're not going to say that. But for those of you who aren't, you're going to say, whoosh, that's a lot. Now, the reason I do this is because I don't like to use stiffener, right? I don't want to put chemicals on something as natural and beautiful as these. So I'm going to basically make it so full, it doesn't have a choice but to stay in beard shape. So I'm going to cut and play. I have a lot of fun when I'm crafting. I hope you do too. But I'm going to cut a piece of cord that goes straight down the middle. If you want, you can cut a really long piece right here because we're just going to friction fit everything up through the beard, which is why we don't need any stuffing. If, however, you want to control the length a little more, I'm going to make a smaller loop. So what I'm doing is I'm adding a little tape to one end so that I can easily thread this through the back of my hat. Then I'm going to cut 6 millimeters, so that bigger cording, and I'm going to cut a 14-inch piece. Now, if you want to create an ornament, you can create 18 inches. This is all your preference. Again, this is for a wine bottle that I'm gifting. So I wanted a shorter hanger so my gnome sat a little higher. I'm just going to take that piece that I taped and I'm going to put it in through the center of the hat, out just right of the knot we made, and then come over just left of the knot we made and back through the center of the hat. Tie a really tight knot and make sure that it's really secure. So here you can see I am actually tugging this until it reduces itself to about half the size. And I just want to make sure, because I don't want this to come out, this is my little hanger. And you do need to take off the little tape piece. All right, so you are going to hold this in the center, making sure you're not pulling anything out or adjusting the size, because you knotted it all in the middle, and now you're going to unravel and brush it out. So I'm going to show you a couple of ways to do this. The first one is just leaving it as the cording. The second is unraveling into each strand of each cord piece. And to me, it looks a little like ramen noodles. What do you think? Let me know in the comments if you think it looks like ramen noodles. You can separate each ramen noodle strand, but I'm lazy, so I get a brush. This is the brush I'm using. It's the self-cleaning slicker brush. It's a dog brush, a cat brush, but the cool part is it has this little button that takes all the yucky cotton away, because what we're going to do is brush it out. So you can see I unraveled the cords so it's separated into 3 pieces, and then I'm just brushing it out. Now, because I'm working with white cord, I put a black background, and you can see it just tore up that foam core. So do protect your surface. If you don't have a cutting board, use something a little less pliable than this, because I will tell you my place looked insane after brushing this out. But you can see the left is brushed out. So that's the entire side brushed out. And the right is unraveled. Do you see the difference in volume between those two? I just love it brushed out, but you can choose to leave it as cording, unravel it, or brush it out. So this part is the longest part. Each of these takes me between 30 and 40 minutes, depending on how big I'm making them. When I'm brushing them out, I do hold the center to make sure I'm not pulling the cording through our knot. I do recommend this. This is what I ended up using. It's just a crafting cutting board, or you can use a cutting mat, but just something to protect your surface. If you have any big knots, unravel those with your fingers and then brush them out. And now, here's the fun part. We're going to assemble, because as I mentioned, we're going to friction fit this all in. So we're going to go to the back, pull your loop out of the way. We don't want to mess with that. And now you're going to take these strands, okay? And you're going to take each one through the center of the hat, and we're going to, what's a nice way to, we're going to yank it. We're going to yank this up into the hat so that it doesn't go anywhere, because how we're attaching the nose is also friction fit. So I'm just going to go, again, either side of the knot we made, and that just helps us to put all this stuff in the back, right? We're just tucking it all in the back. This is really cool because once you knot this, you can actually tuck this knot in down under the brim. All right, ready? So I'm going to take these 2 pieces, yank as hard as I can, pulling that beard up all the way in, and now I'm going to knot it right as near to the brim as I can. So I'm going to double knot that, and again, yank it as hard as I can and tuck those ends into the center. Look, no one's gonna see them. Bam! Love it. All right, here's a really cool thing. We're going to friction fit the nose. Give it a brush here so you can have everything like flat. But I'm going to thread a 3/4 inch or 1 inch wood bead with the thinner macrame cord. And then I'm going to split just a little of the front of that beard and throw it up over the hat. And don't go all the way to the middle, because you don't want to really highlight that center part, but you're going to tie a very tight, very secure knot as high up as you can possibly get it. And honestly, I even tuck it with my fingers as even higher as I can get it. we want it to disappear. Another way we're going to help to disappear is we're going to unravel and brush out the ties that we used to put on that nose. You're going to tuck it up underneath and friction fit it under the hat, tape your beard down, and then I like to use my hand to sort of see where the cuts are going to be, but you can also cut it with, put tape on it and cut it that way. I'm using a rotary cutter. If you only have scissors, hang it and then cut it. But you can see, ready? Ooh, I didn't cut it all the way right there. But you can see just a little tiny bit to clean up. Take the tape off. Ready? And now this is the cool part. You can see I don't have any stiffener on this. I hung it outside, let the wind blow. I vacuumed up my craft space. I threw it down on the table so you can see this is maintaining its shape, okay? This isn't me brushing it out every time. I love this craft, but what do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. And hey, I sincerely appreciate you being here. Please like, share, and subscribe for more crafty fun.